So some of you are old enough to remember when John F. Kennedy challenged, and he said, the Sputnik had just gone up, and they were all upset because they were afraid that the Russians were going to take the heavens, and then we'd be goners, right? And so he said, we're going to make it to the moon. We're going to put a man on the moon in 10 years. Remember that? This was in 1961, I believe it was. And in 10 years, 1969, is that when we put a man on the moon? And so he challenged. He didn't say we're only going to spend a little bit of money. And how much technology did we have back then? See, if you take out your cell phone, we had more technology on your cell phone than they did back then. They said we're going to do it, and so all the engineers got together, and they could never figure out how to get the thing off the launch pad, right? Because they could never agree on different things, and then there was Stephen Covey, the 7 Habits of highly effective, and he said that what made the difference was that somebody came in and said we start with the end in mind. So they said you have to think about what would it look like if we're on the moon, and then we work our way backwards. How did we get here? And we work our way backwards, and that's kind of what we need to do here. Is say, okay, let's imagine what it looks like if every single home in Marion County has been adopted by one or more Lights for Christ who are praying regularly for them and sharing the gospel. So, okay, so our goal is like 130 million households in the United States would be adopted by one or more. And Jesus said, if any person has faith the size of a mustard seed, they can move a mountain. So we can do that. The Southern Baptist Convention has 14.1 million members in 47,000 churches throughout the United States. So nobody has a better opportunity to actually fulfill the Great Commission here. But we can't do it alone. So this is a little map that is envisioning what it looks like when every single home has been adopted, because each one of those gold dots represents a neighbor home, and each of the flashing white lights represents when a prayer is being lifted up by a neighbor light for them. Okay. So that's what we're going for. And you all know Ted Traylor. Anybody know Ted Traylor? He said, we can reach every home in America if every home church is a missionary sending organization, and every member home is a mission outpost. And I heard him say that many years ago, and that's been one of our kind of vision statements that we've used. So, bless every home. It's and God's vision, I believe, is that when God planted virtually every church, the reason he planted them there was to help the neighbors become reproducing disciples of Christ. Is everybody on board with that? You all agree with that? And so Bless Every Home is an internet tool, and you can get it right on your phone. You can go to the App Store. You can go to blesseveryhome.com, and it's free for every Christian believer in America. So when you sign up to be a Light for Christ, you get a color-coded map and a list of your 40 closest neighbors so that you can live a pray, care, share lifestyle with them and track it. And so really it is, this thing was built from the ground up to actually track every home in America in real time about whether it's been adopted by one or more neighboring Lights for Christ in the United States. So that's our goal. You can do it, again, on your computer, mobile phone, tablet. And so when you, and what I'd like to do, how many of you have it on your phone? Okay. So can I challenge you? Can you take out your phone? Okay. Is the best way for you to understand how this works is to go ahead and just download. And it's free and it's confidential. None of the lists or any of the information on here gets shared, put up on the internet or anything. It's just private. And we have an extensive privacy policy. So if you go to, on your browser, if you go to blesseveryhome.com, right? So do you have Chrome on your, what browser do you all use?
I'm on Safari.
Safari, okay. If you go to Safari and then put in blesseveryhome.com, okay, is everybody there? No? Anybody having trouble getting?
Downloading.
Okay. Okay, you're already downloading it, right? So did you go to the App Store or did you went to the App Store? Okay. So you can do it either way. You can go to the App Store or you can go to the website blesseveryhome.com. Now, do you see where it says sign up to be a light? Have you all seen that? Maybe you guys are way ahead of me. All right. Anybody having trouble doing that? So when you say sign up to be a light, it asks you for your name. If you go to the app, it doesn't even ask you for your name. It just asks you for your street address. Okay. Everybody there doing it? If you want to do it, okay. And then you just go ahead and you hit the button to create an account. How are we doing? Is anybody having a problem doing it? Okay. All right. Who's seeing their name and address list? Are you still working on that? What's going to happen is, you got it?
I got it.
Okay. Now, so can you see your neighbors? Let me see which one. Right. Okay, good. So you went to the App Store.
Right.
Right. And there are 4 buttons.
Well, it gave me a link whenever I signed up initially and signed up for the church.
Okay.
I created mine and tied it to that.
All right, excellent. So, and you're doing great. I see you've been praying for people. Okay. Is everybody at the point where you've got a map where you can go? Mark, can I see? Yes, good job. Good job. All right. Anybody else? Are you all there, or do you need help? Oh, beautiful. Thank you. All right. How are you guys doing? All right. All right. We'll just wait a couple minutes.
You good?
All right, great. So, so what you get is when you've finished signing up, you created a light account, and when you click on the map button, it's going to show you a map of your 40 closest neighbor homes. Now, when you start out, they're all gray because you haven't done anything yet with them. But as you color code each neighbor home here. So, and you can, if the homes aren't right, if the addresses or the name is wrong on the home, you can change the name. You can add additional homes. They don't have to be in your neighborhood necessarily. But you color code each home based on where you are in your Pray Care Share journey. And when you open up a neighbor home, you can go in and click on those round buttons. Is that right? Okay. Now, there's also an edit button here. You see down on the bottom. And if you're on the app, it's just a little bit different looking. But you'll notice there's an edit button. Every neighbor home has an unlimited prayer journal that you can keep for each one of those neighbor homes. And you can also do a thing we just recently added called I Prayed For You. And we can talk, if we have time, we'll talk about that. So, and each day you receive a message on your app or an email if you're on the mobile. And it'll present the next 5 neighbor homes for you to pray for. So if you got 40 neighbor homes assigned to you, in 8 days, you can pray for all 40 homes, and then you start over again if you're praying for 5 neighbor homes a day. Now, one of the things that's so powerful about this is that we present to you the scriptures, the recommended scriptures to help you on how you pray for those neighbor homes. And when you're praying, we recommend you pray those verses for yourself, your own family, as well as your neighbor homes. And this is a really, really powerful way to eat the scriptures when you're every day. And what we're doing is we put together these what we call prayer prompts, or these recommended scriptures. These are all based on the promises of God. So and we're going right through in sequential order in a book of the New Testament, and we're taking all of the promises of God, and you're praying those for yourself, and you're praying for your neighbors. So this is a very powerful Bible study as you're going through and doing this, okay? And then you have a dashboard, and that dashboard is showing you real time how many homes have you adopted, how many have you prayed for, cared for, and then the green is how many homes have you shared the gospel with, and then the blue is how many other disciples have you identified in your neighborhood. So again, you can download it from the Apple App Store or on it. And the strategy that we're using here is really Nehemiah, because when Nehemiah was going to rebuild the wall, his strategy was, let's have every family take their own piece of the wall where they live, right? And so they had a sword in one hand and they had a trowel in the other one, right? And how long did it take to rebuild the wall? Who remembers?
52 days.
52 days. They were able to do it, which was incredible, right? So that's the idea, is we want to take every believer, and right where they live, they're going to rebuild the wall and reach out to their neighbor homes. Now, just to give you an idea of where we are in this, these are maps of the lights that we have now throughout the United States. There, you can see Tampa Bay, Metro Kansas City has over 3,000 lights. Virginia, we have over 3,000 lights in the state of Virginia, and so on. So this is good. So the way we start is we first ask the pastor to become a light, just so the pastor can experience what it's like to be reaching out to their neighbors and praying for them and prayer walking, and so there's, at a certain point, a little light goes on and it says, wow, if everybody in our church would do this, this would change everything. So when at that point, then we invite the pastor to go in and become what we call a partner church. And so being a partner church is we give the pastor a link that can be sent out in an email to all of their member homes. And it just has a little button on it. You click that button, and or when the members of the church click that button, they automatically sign up to be a light to their own 40 closest neighbors, but they're linked to the church. So that when the pastor goes in to look at the map, you see all these little white icons. Those are the lights from that church, and you can see them. We'll see that in a minute. So so then the church is able to see. Let's just go here. So the church is able to see a dashboard that shows how many lights do you have in your church, how many homes have you adopted, how many. The red one is how many have we prayed for, and the yellow is how many are we caring for, green is how many have we shared the gospel with, and the blue is how many disciples have we identified.
Thank you for becoming a light for Christ.
Great. Okay, good job. All right, so so this is a real-time dashboard that is actually measuring your spiritual impact that you're having on your mission field, right? Do any of you have a system that's actually measuring your spiritual impact on your mission fields? Any other thing that you guys have been doing? Okay, so all right. So we're doing a big campaign down in Austin, Texas, where all these churches have come together and they're working together with the goal of every single home in the metro area of Austin, which is about 2.2 million people, will be adopted and prayed for on a regular basis. We'll bless every home. So, and now we have, the church has 3 different options. So it's always free for an individual, right? Any individual can sign up to be a light for free. There's no cost, ever. But there are some optional services that a church can subscribe to, and one of them is called a Blessed Partner Church, and that's where, when you, first of all, we give you the first 2 months free, so there's no cost to do that, and you don't have to put in a credit card or anything. You just say, okay, I want to do that, and that's where we give you the email you can send out to all your members. They sign up, and this is what you'll see is you'll be able to see a map of your mission field and where all of your members live, or all of your lights live, okay? And you see those colored different polygons. Those are neighborhoods. We call those prayer walkable neighborhoods. The whole United States is divided into 218,000 prayer walkable neighborhoods. And when you see this, you can see how your lights are distributed within neighborhoods. And if we have time, we'll come back and talk about that. But you see that little red dot that's on that map? Now, one of them, what we call low-hanging fruit. That is, low-hanging fruit is who are the people who are most likely to return to your church and join your church. So who would you say is your lowest hanging fruit?
Those who are attending, those who have attended.
Right. If somebody is a first-time attender and they just came this last Sunday, they are the most likely people to come back, return, and join the church. But it depends on how you follow up with them, right? So who's got the best way of doing visitor follow-up? Okay, how do you do that?
Yeah, when they come for the first time, we have a program where we invite the entire family. We take them to the restaurant of their choice, and we go and have a party for coming in to the church for the first time. And 80% of the time they stay in the church.
There's the best. That's the best one I've heard. Okay, that's terrific. Praise the
Sometimes
Lord.
they have chosen Red Lobster. That's not easy.
Well, they love you at Red Lobster. Let me tell you what this is. All right. That red dot, when you have the Blessed Partner program, okay, and you can see where all of your lights are located. All you have to do is type in the visitor's address, okay, and it will pop that little red flag right on the map, and you can just email your closest lights. See, the lights are your best members, and they're your emerging leaders inside the church. And so you can call them, email them, text them, your closest lights, and say, hey, we have a first-time visitor that just came this last Sunday. Would you please write a personal note? Go knock on their door. Tell them I sent you, okay? And just love on them, take a gift, and just invite them over for dinner. You got multiple lights that are neighbors to that first-time visitor. Maybe you get a couple of lights together and you go out to dinner or invite them over or something, right? So this is assimilation. So this is one of the most powerful ways to assimilate first-time visitors into your church. And your assimilation rates will go way up. Hardly any churches do this in the United States. Okay? So that's part of what you can do with this. Now, we also, when you sign up, we give you a 36-page demographic analysis of your mission field. So it takes your address of your church, and then we go in and okay, so you see this map right here. And this is not a circle, it's a kind of a weird polygon, right? What it does is it takes the address of your church and it says, how far can I drive in 10 minutes in any direction from the church, right? So we call that the mission field sweet spot. So, and then it's got 36 pages of maps and lists, and in this one, we call this your low-hanging fruit, because this is the next highest level of low-hanging fruit. It's the people who just moved in, right, from outside your mission field. So when a person moves from into a whole new community, right, then it's one of the 10 most traumatic experiences that they have in their life. And so they're looking for new friends, and if they have any interest in a church at all, they're probably actively looking. If you can find them, if you can reach them right when they move in, and especially if you've got a member who lives close to them and is a neighbor and they can go knock on their door and personally welcome them, right? So does anybody have a new neighbor welcoming program?
Well, in the ones that we've gotten through this, we're reaching out to them, first of all, by mail, and then following up that way.
Okay, great. And so, one of the nice things, you can do postcards, right? But what I recommend is personal handwritten notes, okay, are going to get a much higher open rate. And, so what we're doing here is we'll show you each of those red dots on that map in this report is how each one of those represents a home that moved into your mission field sweet spot in the last 12 months. So wouldn't it be great if you had gone in and found out where all of your members live and asked them to go visit all of those homes that moved, right? So that's your second highest level of, all right, now, so that's the next program that we have is called the New Mover Program. And every Tuesday afternoon, we post onto your map where the new families are that just moved in, that showed up in the last week. Every Tuesday, we post them, all right? So these green lights right here are all new movers. And it'll tell you there's a number on it, and that will go, that'll tell you how many weeks ago they showed up. And when you open it up, it actually tells you how far they moved and their name. So so if you had a light and you see one of these new movers, do you think it would be a good use of your time to go in and find the closest light from your church to each new neighbor, right? And then ask them to go visit that new neighbor? Is that a good outreach practice? Well, you don't have to do that because we automatically do it for you. When you raise up your lights that you see here, the white ones, it will, if you train and you vet your your lights to go visit these new movers, and you flip a switch, every Tuesday afternoon we'll post your new movers and then email on your behalf your closest light and ask them to go visit them and report back to you. So this is an outreach machine. And you don't even have to, all you do is you get a report every week and it says which lights have been sent to visit which new neighbors. You can also then go down and download all of those new neighbors that just moved in, because when you do your Christmas events, when you do Easter and whatever, you can mail to those people and you can ask your members to go visit them and so on.
Ask a question.
Yeah.
I think that primarily this goes by circumference around your church, or you can choose a zip code area. Is that correct?
Well, when we do this, what we call the sweet spot analysis, we take the address of the church and we find out how far can I drive in 10 minutes, and then we take all the neighborhoods within that 10-minute drive time. Now, we can go a lot bigger than that. We can go smaller. So you can customize.
Well, my question revolves around overlapping with other churches in the association as well.
Right.
Do they overlap?
Yes.
Okay.
Right.
Just
right.
question.
Yeah. So there's another part called the community connector. If we have time, well, we will go if you stay over, but if we have time, maybe we'll hit that too.
Question was, where did you say that you get the data from as far as the new moves?
We license all of our data is licensed from, there are 5 major data compilers in the United States. And we use a company called Epsilon. And there we have 123 million households that we update every 6 weeks. And then, but we also have a separate license, which is just new movers. And we get those updates every week. Okay. And there are, just so you know, all of the data that we have comes from publicly available data sources that's already on the internet. So we're not revealing anything, and it's not personal information, credit card data, anything like that. And there are about 80 different data contributors to these multi-level databases. So one contributor goes out and they specialize in property tax assessor records, right? So they just go out and they get all that stuff and they put it into a but it's all publicly available information for, okay. So I mentioned that we have, okay, let's go here. So, all right, now in the community connector, and I'll just tell you this because we have this little map that you're seeing here is color-coded by what language people speak in the home. Now, this is the community connector. If we have time, we'll come back and talk about this, all right? But because the main thing we want to talk about is the Blessed Partner and the New Mover program. Okay. Let's see. But I want to talk about this. I recommend this book. I should have brought a copy with me. But it's called Bless, 5 Everyday Ways to Love Your Neighbors and Change the World. And this is a simple little acronym, so using the word bless, so B is begin with prayer, L is listen, E is eat, which is fellowship. The first S is serve, and the second S is story. You tell your own story, and you tell his story, right? So begin with prayer, listen, eat, serve, and story. And if you teach your members to do that, you just turn them all into evangelists. But don't tell them that. Just tell them, begin with prayer, listen, eat, serve, story. And because when you sign up to be a light for Christ, you live with those 40 closest neighbor homes. This is a long-term relationship usually, right? So, and part of the thing is when there's a book, very famous book by Malcolm Gladwell called The Tipping Point. Anybody heard of the tipping point? You've heard the term the tipping point, right? And usually it's come from this book by Malcolm. It's a business book. It's not just like a church book. But the idea is if you can get 17% of the constituents in whatever organization you're in, whether it's a business or a club or whatever, if you can get them to adopt some core value and stick to that value, within a few years you can get 80%, up to 80% of the constituents of your organization to embrace that core value. So if we can get start out with at least 17 to 20% of the members of the church to do that, and they'll live that pray, care, share lifestyle, and you'll ask them to share their God stories that they're having with their neighbors, and if the pastor is living this himself and leading by example, you're going to see the culture of the church change from basically a building-centered social club into a missionary sending organization where every member home is a mission outpost. So, and we have, now let's go in, how are we doing on time?
We're going over, but we're all still interested, so keep going.
Okay, all right, so let me jump into, and let's go look at your area. And Mark, is it okay if I show your neighborhood?
Sure.
And I'm impressed, Mark. So, because these are Mark's neighbor homes. So, since he has moved in, how long has it been? Since you got
6 weeks.
6 weeks. He's adopted these people. You remember what? Remember why these are all green? Sure. He shared the gospel with all of those neighbor homes. Isn't that great? And how did you do that?
Well, we got the Jesus film, and I wrote a letter because our neighbors weren't coming out and introducing themselves to us.
Right.
We just have only one family did that, our next on one side of us. And so I wrote a letter to my neighbors and said that we're new to the neighborhood. I explained to them, and I did it on the MBA letterhead, explained to them what I do for a living, and I tell them I'm leading this organization of churches in Marion County. I told them we're not going to force our faith on anybody, or aren't going to, I forget how I worded it, but something to that effect, and that if you need spiritual help, we're here for you. And if you're looking for a church to attend, you can go to this website, churches.mba, and you will see a list of the churches that I work with. So, and then we included the Jesus film and also a bag of microwave popcorn.
Yay!
And
Nice.
so we left that on their doors. We've is there any yellows? The yellow is care, right?
Yeah, but when you're at green, it's overriding.
Oh, it overrides
yellow.
yellow. Okay, right.
So you're in now.
So our neighbors just to the left of us. So yesterday, Tammy made them some snickerdoodle cookies. Because the Jim, we have these lights that light up our house numbers, and they use little special bulbs that we couldn't find anywhere. So we asked them, can we see one of your bulbs so we'll get the number off of it to buy the light bulb? Well, the number was worn out and everything. So next thing we know, we come home and we got the little bulbs lighting up our number. So Jim had come over and had replaced those for us.
Oh, nice.
So out of gratitude, we took them a batch of homemade cookies yesterday, and just to tell them thank you and that we appreciate their neighborliness. So and then on the other side, Tammy went over and talked to those neighbors on Sunday. Because we got inundated by trick-or-treaters. We gave out over 300 pieces of candy Sunday night, and we only gave them each kid one piece. And then we ran out and we had to go inside and turn off the lights. But those neighbors were sitting out in lawn chairs in their front yard. We hadn't talked to them before. So Tammy went over and talked.
Which ones are
just to the right of us there. So that's our house on the left.
Yeah.
And those neighbors there to the right. They were sitting out in lawn chairs in their driveway, and Tammy went over and talked to them for just a little bit. And what did they say about the letter?
They thank you for such a kind letter, and
Yeah,
they really
nice.
appreciated it.
Great.
I kept telling Mark, you're gonna make my neighbors mad. And then of course these neighbors were really appreciated it.
Yeah, nobody was bothered by getting the Jesus film or the letter. Now, I haven't had a get on your knees and pray to receive Jesus moment with any of my neighbors, but we've only been there 6 weeks. But we did we picked 20 homes and we did the Jesus film. But I've been praying for every home every morning. The 5 homes that pop up every morning.
Right, wonderful. So one of the things that we found is, because we have 69,000 lights throughout the United States that have adopted 3 million neighbor homes. And when you click on that, each time you click, it's posting that you prayed to a counter. And so we have, we're getting close to 18 million posted prayers. So we're posting, our lights are posting about almost 1 million prayers a month now, and we'll probably double that by the end of next year. So so that's a wonderful thing. But here's where we kind of get stuck: is that people sign up to be lights, and they're clicking, they're going in, they're praying, and they're turning them red because they prayed for them, and it's counting every time you pray. So we got people, they prayed 42 times for the same home, right? But the part of the challenge here is that what we're doing is we're vertically lifting up each one of our neighbor homes before the throne of grace. But they don't know we're praying for them unless we tell them that we're praying for them, right? And so we see a lot of our lights get stuck where they don't get beyond the red, which is I prayed for you, for their neighbor homes. So part of the challenge is, how do we get to meet them and get into a caring relationship, right? And you know who came up with the best solution to that? Is Chick-fil-A. And anybody like Chick-fil-A sandwiches? No? Yeah. Okay. So we're doing this program down in Austin, Texas, and we had a big meeting down there last April, and this man comes up to me named Alan Williams. And Alan Williams is a Chick-fil-A operator, and his church had done, did I tell you about this?
It's only
Okay.
that, yeah.
So the Chick-fil-A, they had a goal of having Chick-fil-A be the most popular fast food organization in the world with the highest loyalty rate, you know. And they passed that goal many years ago. So they said, well, what's our new goal? And they all voted and they said, okay, they agreed on, we want to be the most caring fast food organization. Isn't that interesting? They want to be the most caring fast food organization in the world. So they were looking for different expressions of that. And Alan Williams, his church had done a program, a series on called, it's not loving your neighbor, what's it called? The Art of Neighboring. Art of Neighboring. And he felt so, he said, hey, I've got Chick-fil-A restaurants, I want to do a block party. So he goes out, knocks on all of his neighbors' doors, and says, hey, you know what, we don't know our neighbors, and if I thought it'd be fun to have a block party. So I have a Chick-fil-A restaurant. I'll bring the food if you'll come, right? And he got 80% of his neighbors to show up for this block party. He comes in his cow outfit, you know. They had a fabulous time. But the number one emotion that was shown there was tears, because people said, we've lived here for 20 years and we don't even know our neighbors. And so they had a great time, and they said, let's do this every year. And now they've got a new tradition in there. And then he started doing it, and he would say to people, hey, if you want to throw a block party, and now they've worked it out, if you have two families on the same block that will work together to organize the block party, and they say, you know, take between 30 and 50 homes max to invite them, we will give you up to 50 free Chick-fil-A sandwiches. Free, okay? But you have to organize them. We're not going to organize the block party. And they give every family that comes gets a little refrigerator magnet where you can write in your neighbors' names around you, so that you know how to contact them. And he had one, so he's done 100 block parties now. And the national office has come in and said, when they heard about it, they sent their top guys out there, and they said, we're going to do this nationally. They approved it, got all the legal stuff, and as soon as the COVID dies down, they're prototyping this in Austin, but then they're going to go nationwide with it. So that means you can take your members and have them just organize, especially if you get 2-member homes, or just get any member home, go find another family that will help you organize it, and they'll bring. Now, that's beautiful, because it gives you, it's very non-threatening to go out and get your neighbors, meet your neighbors, to organize the block party, set the dates and all that, right? So you can go from the red, where you're praying for them, and now you move into the pray, care, share, right? Okay. So, but that's a great way to get to meet your neighbors. But I want to show you something else here too. And Mark, tell me if you want me to hit certain things, because I know we're already over. But.
Yeah, you touched on a little bit about the new move-in information, and I just want to emphasize that, because according to the latest information I see, and this is from U.S. News and World Report, Ocala, Marion is now the 6th fastest growing metro in the country. And every day now we're coming out with new approvals of new subdivisions, new condos, new apartments, because another statistic that I heard, and this comes from the Chamber of Commerce, that if every person in Marion County that is unemployed would get a job today, there would still be 3,000 more open jobs than there are people that are working those jobs.
Wow.
And so if we don't have enough people here to fill the jobs that we have now, we're importing them in from other places, and these are typically younger people because our fastest growing industry now is either it's trucking, logistics, warehouse, manufacturing, those kinds of things, and we have over 6 million square feet of manufacturing and warehousing spec buildings that are in planning or being constructed right now. And so we're about to see this population boom. And it's, as I shared earlier in Acts 19:10, it says that the gospel was shared with everyone. But people keep being born and people keep moving into the area. So it's not a one and done thing.
Right.
So I mean, we would love to get to every home and share the gospel with every home. But really, we got to stay on top of these new movers coming in. As you shared, that's our low-hanging fruit. Right. So would you kind of just show how using, and I think you kind of touched on this a little bit, but kind of the community, blessed partner and the new move-in together, that would cost a church how much per month? Those two products
it's
together.
$15 a month for the blessed partner, okay? And that's where you can see the map of where all your lights are, do first time visitor follow-up and all that. And then if for an extra $25 a month, we'll post every Tuesday, okay, we'll post up to like 50 new mover neighbors that showed up in the last week.
Can you go into, I'm sorry, can you go into our account and show,
yeah, sure,
like last week's new movers, and then and instead of attenders, we've actually uploaded a CSV of our churches. And so at MBA, we've subscribed to the new mover list. Now we only get, what's that, 25 a week in the area closest to our address.
So we need to expand it so we get the entire county and around each.
Yeah, but if you could show,
I'll do that.
So what I'm doing every Tuesday when I get that list, I'll go in and I'll see what churches are closest to these new move-ins because we don't have people signed up as lights under our account unless it's through a church account. But so some of you are getting new move-in lists from me because I'm trying to find out, which churches are closest to these new movers, which ones are most likely to go visit them. I did have one church that kind of said that they didn't want the data, they didn't want the list, so I'm not sending it to them.
Okay.
But if you could show how those are kind of showing up on the same map there.
Well, yeah, that'd be fine. So this is the Community Connect app, but I'm going to turn off these households right now, and we'll just look at and I'll pull them up now. All right, let's see. So,
But for what I'm doing right now, I mean, we can't cover every church and every area, but if a church wants to do that, if they just want the new move-in data, it's $25 a month, and you get the new movers closest to your church property. If you add that to the blessed partner and you then want to connect people that are praying with those that are moving in, that happens automatically.
right, you can set it up so it automatically happens, right? So what I'm doing here is we uploaded, you can see on this map where the churches are. Right? Now over here, I can come down and go to new movers.
So those
We
churches
wanna
are
see
kind of
that.
those round dots, and the new movers are the green
Right,
ones.
you see the blue dots, but actually you have in here you've got lights.
Oh,
Now you
okay.
see where the lights are located? Can everybody see the right? Okay, so there's a light, right? And so automatically when the new movers are posted on Tuesday afternoon, you can set it up so this person right here will say, where's the closest light? Well, obviously this would be the closest light, and we can email that person for you and ask them to go visit that new neighbor, okay? So, and then you get a report every week. You say, here are your lights and which neighbor homes that they've been asked to go visit. So you want to go in and train and vet your members who become lights. Sometimes there are people in your church who say, oh yeah, I want to go out and visit them, and you just say, well, you know, it's wonderful, we're glad you're here, but you just as soon not have them representing your church when you go out. Okay, you know what I mean? So you want to vet them, you want to train them, and you want to vet them. Now that wouldn't happen to anybody's churches here.
Yeah.
Sure, but let's just go in.
Now also, those new movers are people that have moved from at least 15 miles away.
That's right. And so let's just go in here and I'll show you. I need to get my glasses here. Just let me get my glasses. So when you open each one of those, I'm just going to go click on this one right here. So you see that it says, well, these people moved 15 miles, right, from the old address. These people, Jeremy West, just moved 1,122 miles from their old address.
Wow. So give them, okay.
Can you see it okay?
Yeah.
So it's actually, you know, they're probably not going to commute back to the old church, right, if they moved over 1,000 miles. Right here, these people moved 299 miles. Those people moved 32, right? So 24. So we're showing you that the name, the address, they showed up in the last week. So the object here, obviously, is just you got a close neighbor, and remember, your lights that you're raising up are your best members and your emerging leaders. And you don't have to do anything except just set them up. The only thing that you really have to do as the pastor is just raise up more lights. Because the more lights you've got, the more outreach you're going to get going on. But there's something even more important than that, is that you're changing the culture of the church as you're doing this, and you're engaging your members and to do the outreach. And I want to show you something. Mark, this is what I started to tell you about. If I go into let's see if I can actually go into your account. All right, I'm going to show you, and it's a new thing called I Prayed For You. So let's see if I can get back to here. And I'm going to go to my account. I'm going to go into your thing, and let's go to the map. I'm going to go right like that. Now, each one of these neighbor homes that you see has their own information box, right? And if you, so here, this is what you were talking about. Some of the people you've marked the yellow because you cared for them, you know them, you're in relationship, but you have shared the gospel with all of them, right? Now, let's say that you met Billy and Jeffrey, okay? And you're talking to them, and the idea is you want to move on in your Pray, Care, Share relationship. So let's say you get into a conversation with them, and they say, and you say, well, hey, how are you guys really doing with all the COVID, with all the economy and everything? And remember, you've been praying for them, right? So we've been lifting up, and God's been preparing their hearts and your heart. And then maybe they hesitate, and then they say, I don't know why I'm telling you this, but last week our teenage daughter tried to hurt herself, and she's in the hospital right now. Okay? So, let me just turn that on. No, that's my wife, okay? I'll call you back, okay? You needed, can I put it on speakerphone? I'll call you back. I will, I promise. Okay. Okay. All right.
Note to self.
Huh?
Note to self.
I'll remember that. Okay. Okay, here, what I'm going to show you is so powerful. All right. So you had this encounter with them. They shared a very serious prayer request, right? So what do you say? Oh, we're so sorry. Could we pray with you about that? And they say, oh, yes, please. And so you pray with them and you say, would it be okay if we follow up with you? And they give you their contact information. Now here's, at this point, this is, you go in here and you see the edit button, that little wrench. Okay, did everybody see what I did? In the wrench, you can, when you go in there, first of all, you have unlimited prayer journaling for each neighbor home that you have. And you can add their contact information. You can put in, and you can actually dictate your prayer requests right into your phone, okay? And so you can put in the prayer request, and you can set up, if you want to, you can set up a little template-like thing, okay? And so you see this calendar thing, it has 31 days on it. The reason you have that is you can click on a day of the month to be reminded to send them a text message, a personal text message that says something like, hey, we prayed, I just want to let you know we prayed for you today. Here's a verse that we prayed. And would you like, could you share with us what's happening with what we prayed about? Do you have any new prayer requests or answers to prayer, or can we serve you in some way? And imagine that you sent that to that neighbor every month. This is not like putting a door hanger on their door that says, I prayed for you. This is a personal text message that about prayer for them. It's not right. It's not just a canned thing. Imagine that you sent that to a neighbor home 5 months in a row. So what's just happened? You become their neighborhood pastor, right? I mean, if they ever have a problem, they're going to call you. Because how many people have done that to you guys, where you've gotten a personalized prayer email every month on a regular basis that they just prayed for you? Here's the scripture we prayed. Anybody?
I get some each week. Different individuals, yeah.
Yeah, isn't that one? And that's, so you have a close relationship.
I know when they're going to land.
Yeah, right. So what you're doing here is now, what if you train your members of your church? First of all, you just go in and set up all your members of your church in here, and you're sending them every month. You send them that little personalized thing. Get them to sign up to be lights, and then train them how to do that with their neighbors. And this becomes an exponential expansion.
Now, is that an individual basis, or can you do it for all of your lights?
Every light has that capability built into their light account.
I understand
This
that.
is free for any light.
But as a pastor, and you're going to send it to those people that are in your congregation on a regular basis, do you set them up individually, or is there a group?
I would set them up individually right now. Okay. But right. So just, and all you do is you just go into their account, right? They just go into their account and you put on what day. So if you've got 31 days of the month, you could do three people a day easily, because it's so quick and easy. And you've got in your prayer time, and you say, okay, I'm going to pray for these guys. Well, in 30 days, you could have 90 different people that you're in this. You're really moving from vertically lifting them up to horizontally now moving into a soft discipleship relationship. And if you can teach your members of your church to be doing this, it's just going to start going. But also, the temperature of the church is just going to go like that. Because the thing that people say when you members of the church sign up to be lights, and we say, okay, what has happened since you started praying for your neighbors? Almost without example, exception, the people say, oh, God changed my heart. It changes their own heart because they start seeing their neighbors in a whole new light. They're seeing their neighbors through the eyes of Christ. So, anyway, what else? What am I?
I think that's good. Does anybody else have any questions for Chris?
Yeah. One other thing I wanted to just tell you was when you sign your church up and you recruit your lights. So let's say you got 20 lights. You can go in there and in your administrator account, you can just download a spreadsheet, and it shows all your lights, how many homes they've adopted, how many they've prayed for, cared for, shared with in one report. So you can track the activity levels of all of your member homes, right?
Now that's after you become a blessed partner.
That's in the blessed partner.
Okay, and so right now we're kind of under the umbrella of the association.
Right.
Do we migrate from that to our own account?
Well, what Mark is going to do, have you sent out the invitation to
Yes.
each church?
Yes.
Okay, so we need to follow up on that and just, if you wanted to, if you can get their permission, you can go in and set each church up so we can see them on the map, right? And then you can hand that over to them. But
Yeah. So if you signed up using that link that we sent you? That puts your church under our dashboard. So then I can go back and I can look at the whole area and see what neighborhoods are being prayed for and which ones are not.
Now I gotta find out if I signed up under that link or another link.
Yeah.
and we'll connect. You can connect because you can go in there and say, "Here's the organization I want to affiliate with." But that way, they're all affiliated with you. If you go out and you
Now I did designate the association.
Great. Yeah. So you can do that manually, and then if you use the link that we gave you, you get 2 months free of Blessed Partner. After the 2 months, and it's $15 a month, and you subscribe, and then you can see all of your lights. But you can also send the members of your church a link, and if they sign up as a light using that link, then that automatically puts them in your dashboard. But
Right.
if they don't, if they've already been doing this and they haven't, then you can show them how they can go into their account and they can change their affiliation to your church. And
Right.
it'll pull out
Right.
all of them in your dashboard.
So when you become a blessed partner, again, you get 2 months free. You get an email with a special link. You just email it out to all your members, and we recommend that you talk about this from the pulpit, and then say, "Hey, we're going to send you an email," and they get it. Hit the button, boom, they're a light, and they start getting their daily 5 emails with their next 5 neighbors.
You could also have a special meeting, like provide a lunch or something like that, like we've done today. And then for those that are most interested in being lights, are the ones that you vetted, and then just have them all sign up right then and there.
Right.
I did it through our homecoming service. We established, our mission statement there and said, now where do we go from here? Here's where you can help. Be a part of Bless Every Home. And I took that BLESS and used that acronym.
And how many of you have seen Fireproof or Courageous, or remember what the Kendrick brothers had them do, everybody do at the end of Fireproof?
Yeah.
They had everybody come together and they had a commissioning. And I think that would be powerful, at the church, you recruit people to come in, just like you have them come in, and then we're going to have a commissioning service for our lights, all of our lights.
Yeah.
And you're keeping that in front of the church.
Can you repeat what you said about every church being a mission outpost?
Right. So that's what, if
That
every
trailer.
trailer, if every church is every member home is a mission outpost, and every church is a missionary sending organization.
And that just kind of sums up the vision, the unofficial vision I have for MBA. And we'll get that, like I said, we'll get that solidified in January. But we changed the name of our office from MBA office to MBA Missionary Resource Center.
Right.
Because we want all of the members of your churches to understand that they are missionaries to our local mission field. I mean, we still want to support our work overseas with IMB and our support through NAM, Florida Baptist Convention. But we, as a family of churches, we have this responsibility of reaching our own mission field. And so that's part of that vision, is that every home would be a mission outpost.
Right.
So incredible.
And I remember when your lights sign up, okay, when the whole mission field here is divided into these prayer walkable neighborhoods. And if you have lights from different churches that are in the same neighborhood, we facilitate networking them across church lines, so that what we want to do is create this missional community within that neighborhood, so that nobody can move in there without being greeted by one or more lights, and every single home has been adopted by one or more lights. I mean, we can, in a very short time, if we can just get a significant number of the member churches here to sign up and get their lights going, we could have every home in Marion County adopted by one or more Lights for Christ. And that's moving towards fulfilling the Great Commission, right? And the Great Commandment. So anyway, thank you for your patience.
Well, thank you, Chris. And normally we'd say we're going to be done by 12:45, and as I said earlier, anybody, you can leave whenever you need to. But I appreciate you staying longer, Chris.
My pleasure.
I really felt like that we needed to hear all of it, and so how can people get in touch with you if they?
I brought some brochures,
okay,
and I think I've got some cards, and so and then of course we can connect through Mark. Right?
Yes.
And